Yeah, it's your boy Chili here. Welcome back. I was gonna say welcome back to Donkey Fartbox, but welcome back to Nano CEF. We've got our little we pulled in Beautify, and I showed you a little bit about how the styling works. And it's cool. We can do the dark mode. This is not really demonstrating reactivity here, dynamic UI. Like the only thing that's dynamic about it is the fact that you can change it from dark mode to light mode. There's a lot more to Vue.js. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the world's crappiest shopping cart, I guess. Sure, that sounds good. So let's start with a clean slate again here. Now I'll show you my process for how I would build something up like this from the ground. The only theme you need is dark theme. So you can actually do that right in here. You can go theme, default theme, dark. The idea here is we're going to have like a shopping cart with like a list of items, every name of item and quantity. And then we'll show the subtitle, and at the bottom we'll show the grand total. So first, I guess we need the set of items that you could possibly have in your shopping cart, all the things that are sold in the store. And this is TypeScript, so we can actually define what such an object has. It's not just like namby-pamby, loosey-goosey duck typing. We got some real static typing in here. So the name of the object is going to be a string, the name of the item, and the price is going to be a number. So now we're going to create our inventory. And this is not going to be some reactive data. It's just a static list of things that we have. So we don't need to use the ref thing that we were using before. We'll call this one the inventory, and we can type it as an item array. And that way TypeScript will then look and make sure that we're not doing anything stupid, that everything we put in here adheres to the interface item. It has at least a name and a price. Here's our inventory. We got 20 different things that you could possibly purchase. And now we look forward, because every row in our shopping cart has two things: the item, and then it has the quantity of item that you're going to be purchasing. So that's another interface. And now we have the list of entries that is what is in our shopping cart. And this piece of data is going to be reactive, because this is the thing that we're going to be adding and removing and modifying. So we're going to do const entries is equal to ref. The type is an entry array, and it's going to start off as an empty array. What I normally do before I actually start hooking up dynamic data into a UI is I just kind of build it statically. So let's do that. Let's simulate Chili's workflow for mucking around in the front end. So let's start with like a little header. Put that right now. So we're going to have a row for every item type in your shopping cart. And in the row, we're going to have a column that allows you to select what's in the cart. What are we buying? What the dog doing? So we got a column. Now, the way the layout works is you got 12 columns that you can divide up. So we're going to say that this thing is going to be 8 columns wide, because it's going to be the selector that you can select the item in. So it's got to be long. It has the name of the thing in it. The way you select it is we're going to do it with a V autocomplete. So that's like a fancy select box that also lets you search inside of it. It's good when you have a lot of things and you don't want to scroll forever. Primary color, which I think is going to be like a blue color. Now I like outlined variant. Give you the outlined variant. Now the most important thing we got in here is the items. So that is going to be the set of things that can be selected in this autocomplete. So that should be our inventory. Now the set of items isn't just an array of strings, it's an array of objects. So we have to tell it what to use as the text in this select. So we do item title is equal to name, because the name member of the object is what we're going to use in there. And I think that's good for now. We need some more stuff probably, but we're just doing like a little mock-up to figure out what we're doing here. So we got another column, the quantity. How many of the thing we're going to buy? This one's going to be a V number input. And you already know this is my style. Primary color, outline variant. I think we could actually even go label, call this one item, quantity, and we're almost in the home stretch now. V column calls, so the remaining 2 columns, that's where the subtotal is going to go in there. So we can just put some money in there. We'll probably style this a little bit later. But so here's a little preview. Let's see what this looks like. Let's get us started. Okay, it's a little jacked up. I mean, the select is working good. We can see all the items in here. That's pretty good, right? Okay, I don't think this one is big enough to put the quantity label in there. So, and I think we actually going to need this to be a little wider than 800. This is just not enough. And yeah, this will need to be fixed as well. But you kind of see the game loop here, right? Like in this card, let's put a little bit more padding in here, a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's looking better already. You can give the header a little more breathing room as well. I was planning on doing that. Ah yeah, there we go. Let's make this one to like 10, a nice round 1024. All right, that's all. We got a little more space there. Now, it's still never going to fit quantity in there. So I think we'll just lose the labels. There's a thing here. So this, I mean, you could enter a number in here, but you could also use the up and down buttons. But we're missing. There should be an icon here showing up and down, and we don't got that. Because we haven't imported the icon font for all the icons. There's like a little font package, and you can pull it in from the internet, or you can build it in. And we want to build it. We want to ship it. We don't want the user to have to connect to the internet to see the icons in their app. So where do we pull that in? So this reminds you, there's actually another thing, and that is I believe Beautify by default wants to use a specific font called Roboto, and we don't have that either. So it's probably doing a fallback. So let's get both those bad boys in here. npm install mdi font and font source Roboto. So we install those. That will pull the actual fonts onto our system. And then we should just be able to build them into our happy crappy here. So we'll do import mdi design icons.css. Font source Roboto index.css. Now I believe that changes to main.ts don't get loaded so hot. We don't get our hotman reloads there. So if we want to see the changes, I guess we got to run the dev server again. Well, there's our icons. We got our up and our down. It goes to -1. That's probably strange. Oh, we do even have an icon here. I didn't even notice it was missing. There we go. All right. Now, as much as I do like these little up doots and down doots on here, they do take up quite a bit of space here. We got limited real estate, so I think there's a way to make them smaller, in a sense. We can stack them. Control variant equals to stacked. That's a little better. I like it. Let me put a p tag around this. Price, and we'll make it a little bigger. That's better. So here's the interesting part. We've got this array of entries, and we want to basically spit out one of these rows for every entry in the cart. So now we get to the view templating stuff, one of the most important parts. So v4 is what allows you to loop over some data and spit out some markup, some DOM for everything in the array, or for a range of numbers for each entry in entries. And now we are going to bind. If you remember in the last video, we used vModel to bind a switch to a bool. So we're going to bind to entry dot. Something is wrong here. Like, I'm not getting my IntelliSense, and I should be getting IntelliSense here. So I believe when I first installed this, I had to set hybrid mode to true to get the damn TypeScript thing to work. It ain't working now, and it's making me a little mad. I'm pretty sure it was working a little before. I remember when I said we only touch this when we absolutely have to. I think we might have to. Hold me, boys, I'm going in. Compiler options. We're going to tell it there's some types that you should be aware of. So you should be aware of view, macros global, and you should be aware of Vite client. Oh, hallelujah! We were flying without our IntelliSense for so long. It's good to be back, boys. All right. Item. So we're going to bind. So for every entry in our array of entries, for that entry, we're going to bind item to this autocomplete. We're going to bind entry.quantity to this number input. And in here, why not we just do it? So if you want to just spit out some text into your page, you do these handlebar mustaches, whatever you want to call them. And so this is going to be entry.item.price times entry.quantity. But we want it like to be numbers and stuff, so we want to make sure it's got 2 decimal places even if it don't need them. You know what I'm saying? Ah, very good. Okay, so this is expected because we have an empty array for our entries. Let's just jam some placeholders in here. So something like this will start her off. And there you go. Ah, nice. Now we got 2 rows in here. None. Okay. That's not so good. We can work. We need to work on that maybe. Ah, okay. So the problem is when you select something in the autocomplete, the value that is going to be bound into the V model, by default, it's just the text that it's using, the item title. So it's going to try to set item to a string, but item is not supposed to be a string. It's supposed to be a reference to an object. So that's not good, right? So what we want to do is we want to say no. Return object. Yes. So now if I change this, it works now, see? Now it's not going crazy. All right, we're making progress here. Okay, so I want to align these numbers, and I want these to align. I want them aligned. That's just what I want. For every row, we can do align center. That should put all the stuff in the center of the row. So that's better. We'll say that's better for now. The other thing is I want the numbers to line up. So that is maybe going to be a little trickier. Let's put a class on this column. We'll make it flex type display, and we will justify the items to the end. And now they're all lined up here. That's better. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm starting to dig it. All right, outside of the card, we're going to add a button so we can actually add new items to the list. How am I going to do this? Let's make a div, and I want to put the button on the right-hand side. So we can do the same tech we did for the numbers. We can say that this is flex, and we want to justify end. And then in here, we're going to do a V button. And we want to bind some logic to when you click the button, and you do that with a @ So we can do @click, and we can say @click run this function. We have to give it a function. Just say add. Okay. So let's create a little function in here called add. Let's do function add item. And all it's going to do is it's going to put something in this array. So we don't need to put these placeholders in here anymore because we have the ability now to add items for real. These reactive values, when you want to access them inside the script, you don't do like entries dot something. You do entries dot value. That gets you the array that's actually wrapped around there. And then we want to push into there a new object. So let's do, so the item is going to be inventory. So we'll just start, whenever you add a new one, it's just going to be inventory item 0 defaulted in there. And the quantity is going to be 1. You know, while I'm at it here, this number input, let's say the minimum 1. It doesn't make sense to go to 0, or especially not negative numbers, so we can fix that right away. All right, so now if I click add, okay, it doesn't work. Okay, sometimes your hot reload ain't so hot. Or maybe you're just stupid and you didn't put the frickin' function call in here. Add item. There we go. Better. Maybe the hot reloading was hot and I was just stupid. There you go. So we can like change this one. We can give you some more here. Can't go any less because you can't go less than 1. All right, now let's add a little bit more dynamic. All right, now let's add a little more dynamic pizzazz. So we want another row at the bottom. And that's not going to be part of this V-force. It's a static 1 row. And this row is going to have our grand total in it. So we're going to have 2 V columns. One of them is going to be 10 wide. That's just going to have our label. I don't know, I'm lazy. I'll just use price. And I think we could even do like style. We'll do the special. Deflex. Justify. Style. Not style. Class, my boy. Class. So there's our grand total label. And then one more V column. This will also be price. So p.price. And in here we want to do the grand total. So we want to sum up all the entries. But we can't really do that from within here cleanly. So let's create something new. A piece of reactive data but it's not two-way binding. It's just going to compute its value dynamically based on all of its inputs. So that's a computed. So we need to compute it. This is lazy evaluation, by the way. So it only evaluates when it's needed, and it only does the evaluation again when any of its inputs change. Otherwise, it doesn't run. It just caches the value. So we do const grand total is equal to computed, and we give it a little function. You gotta love these. You know, there's a lot to hate about JavaScript, but I do love the arrow functions. They're so clean and terse. All right, so we gotta like loop over all of the entries and multiply quantity times the price, add that together. So that's like a reduction operation if you're a functional programming head. So I think we can reduce this baby. Entries dot value to get at the array dot reduce, and we give this one another arrow function that's actually going to do the reduction per item. It takes in the total sum and then the entry that we're currently working on, and it is going to do sum. It's going to return sum plus entry dot item dot. Notice how we get very good IntelliSense here now because the TypeScript is actually working. Entry dot quantity, and we start this bad boy off with a value of 0. We could actually get rid of these curly boys and just do this, and then we don't have to type return. So now we want to put the grand total. Put that bad boy in here. Grand total dot to fixed 2. I love it when the TypeScript is working, man. The IDE flows. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully it doesn't break. Oh, the grand total looks like it's granding. It's totaling. Give me some Tide Pods. Give me some chairs. Yeah, well. All right, we probably want to do a little alignment shenanigans in here, but it's working. It's working. So let me see if I can get my alignment fixed up here. I want to align center. Justify end here. Yeah, that's looking better. That's looking all right. Now it does it's a little floaty in between here. These containers are a little bigger than I think they need to be. So it turns out that there's actually like a little space below each of these controls to add a little message if you're doing validation, but we're not doing validation. We don't need that message. So we can do hide details, can make it a little smaller. And we can also make it a little more compact. There's a density option. So we could say density compact. So if we do that, that's looking a little cleaner too. And then the number now lines up nice with the controls too. It doesn't look all funky. Maybe get my $sign in there. $sign and my grand total. There you go. That's looking pretty sweet. Now there is one minor problem. You can't remove items once you got them in there. It might be okay for sales, but not so great for customer satisfaction, I'm thinking. So let's make a function. Remove item. It's going to take in an index, which is a number, of course. And what we do with that is we go entries.value.splice to remove an item. And you say remove an item at index, remove one item. Let's see here. We're going to put a column before the autocomplete. That's going to be one column wide. Small boy. But you know, we can only have 12 total. We now got 13, so we're gonna rob one from the autocomplete here. We'll put another V button. Now let's do a special one. I mean, we could just put a button that says delete, but it's kind of big. Let's make an icon button. So icon is equal to MDI trash can, is I believe what it's called. We'll make it a small boy. We'll do a text variant, which makes it a little different kind of button. Let's do color. Color is equal to red. Red's a good color for a delete button. And when you click it, let's call remove item. We'll give it the index of the thing that we clicked, but we don't have index. We only have entry. So we can actually say, hey, when you're looping all this stuff, give me the object and give me an index as well, because I need that. Save that. Let's see if it works on the Hotman reload. Ah, there's our trash cans. Oh, nice. It's like a little circle boy. So yeah, let's put this in here. Rickroll. Get some items in our... Yeah. Now if I delete the Zoom call pajama pants, that worked fine. And look, everything updates automatically. This one is good. Why is the grand total here? It should be whenever we delete an item or add an item or change an input, change a quantity here, change the type. automatically updates the subtotal, which automatically updates the grand total. It's all connected. It's all synchronized. And I didn't have to do really anything. It just does it automatically. This space here is kind of driving me crazy. What the hell is that? It's just using the same price to get the... Well, there's a padding... because I did the padding right on the price here to push it over a little bit. And so that's pushing this one over, but I don't want to push this one. So I could just define like a different class for grand total, but I'm lazy. So what I'll do instead is I'll do a style, inline style that overrides that and says padding right is 0. There, how about that? There you go. Beautiful. Laziness for the win. And you know, while I'm at it, might as well put a nice little icon on this one here. Icon is equal to MDI plus, I guess. And I think set the color equal to, we'll give it a purple. Give it the old purple nurple. What does that look like? Add. Maybe I got to get rid of the text here. Save that. How's that? There you go. Oh, that's nice. And see, this is an autocomplete. So if I type in like Elon, I get all the Elon options. If I type in fire, there's a dumpster fire. Candle set. My very own. And there you have it. There's your very minimal demo of what it looks like to actually kind of design a UI from the ground up using Vuetify. And you can see, you can see a little bit of the toolbox in action. This is probably like maybe 1.5% of what they have for you. But you can see some of the the mainstays like card, row, column, button. Those bad boys, you're going to be using them all over the place. Icon, buttons, all the good stuff. And, perhaps even more importantly, from the logic side of things, you can see how you can do a little reactivity. It's not that hard. You just wrap your data with this ref, and it becomes reactive. You bind it to your UI with vModel. You can use computed to create, derived views of your data that update automatically, and therefore update your UI automatically. Little TypeScript in here for you. Strong static typing instead of your loosey-goosey JavaScript bullshit. I hope you liked it anyways, more than, me just pasting in some code and then showing you, here's the code, here's what it looks like. I show you the process of building it up from the ground. A small little demo, a modest piece of engineering here. In the next video, we're going to push all this front-end stuff to the background. It's still there. We'll still monkey around with it, but we're going to focus we're going to go return to the world of C++, and we're going to be focusing on how to actually implement the communication between the C++ code and this front end you're building. Because ostensibly, if you're doing this in CEF and not in Electron, you're doing it because you want to do some stuff in C++. Otherwise, I don't know why you're bothering, to be honest. So, then that'll be fun. That's actually quite an interesting engineering problem to solve, depending on how deep I end up going into it. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button, helps a lot. And I will see you again with some more Nano CEF.